A very good morning, all. This is Ritu Saxena, working as assistant professor in IPM Ghaziabad. Today, we are going to discuss a very interesting topic of organizational behavior. This subject is studied by the students of BBA as well as BCA. The topic which we are going to discuss is I would like to start with one of the example or a story. Uh, As we all have heard, a story about an elephant and the six blind people. They have been asked to identify the creature, and everyone tries, and as they were blind, so they have perceived the elephant in different aspects. The person who have touched the tusk of the elephant considered as elephant is really very hard like stone. The person who has touched the trunk of the elephant perceived like it is a thick pipe kind of creature. The person who have touched the tail of the elephant perceived as like it is like a rope. So everyone was perceiving elephant in his or her own way, because they are not going to they were blind. As they were blind, so they are not going to see the elephant, so they were perceiving and they were considering that whatever I am perceiving is correct. So the topic for today is perception, and it varies from person to person, and it depends upon various aspects, like your personality, like your thinking, your values, your beliefs, your knowledge, your experience. So many factors are responsible for generating your perception. Another example of perception is, like, if I'm saying this a number or a digit is 9, and the other person is looking in another aspect, and according to him it is 6, so no one is incorrect. The thing is, they are looking at the same thing or the digit or the object or a person from different angles, different perspectives. So we used to consider that whatever we are perceiving, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are thinking is correct. The other person is wrong. But the basic thing is that the other person is not wrong. The other person is like looking the thing from a different point of view, from a different perspective. So everyone is having his or her own perception. No one is can say that I am correct, you are wrong, or the other person is thinking in a wrong way or perceiving in a wrong way. The thing is that he or she is perceiving the thing with different aspects, with his or her point of view only. So we cannot say that other person is wrong and we are perceiving the right thing. As in the picture there are two lines. Like if we perceive, or if we are supposed to ask, okay, which line is is bigger, so whatever we can perceive is like, okay, we can say the right one is bigger or the left one is bigger. It is upon our perception only. Like here we can see there are two images. One is vase and there another one is two faces. Now it is up to our perception, it is up to our thinking, values and beliefs, the way the cognitive process happens in our mind. Some people will see the vase first, some people will see the two faces, and maybe it is possible that a person can see beyond these two figures. So it is all about whatever we are thinking. It depends upon our learning, it depends upon our knowledge. Like in this figure we can say that there are so many pictures in this picture. So how many can we see? It depends on our knowledge and perception, our cognitive process of our mind. It is a very good example of perception again. Like the person we are looking at in this picture, we can say that there are two person, or basically there is only a one person, and we are looking at that person by with two different angles. So now, theoretically, we are going to discuss what exactly perception is. According to the dictionary meaning, perception means act of perceiving. Perception means perceiving, giving meaning to the environment around us. Like looking at someone may perceive it as beautiful, the other will perceive it as ugly. There are several definitions given by various authors like Uday Parikh and others. They described as perception, they defined as the process of receiving, selecting, organizing, interpreting, checking, and reacting to the sensory stimuli. According to Stephen P. Robbins, a process by which an individual organize, interpret their sensory impression in order to give meaning to their environment. By analyzing the above definition, we can say that the term perception involves the following, like deciding which information to notice, how to categorize this information, and how to interpret it within the framework of our existing knowledge. So according to Robbins, the term perception involves these 3 points. Now, this is what the perception process is all about. There are two terms which we are going to discuss over here: sensory stimuli and sensory receptors. We all are having sense organs, 5 sense organs. These sense organs, we can I would like to say that these sense organs we are going to term as sensory receptors, and the sensory stimuli, whatever is in our environment, whatever we are receiving through our sense organs, that is sensory stimuli. This is the basic process of perception. Like first step or the first point is environmental stimuli. Whatever we are going to receive from the environment, we are having so many things in our environment, like whatever we can see, we can touch, we can smell, we can taste, we can feel. So everything around us is the stimuli, and which we are going to receive through our sensory stimuli. Then after receiving, that means the observation, the taste, hearing, touch, smell, and sight. After observing or receiving the stimuli, we tend to select the stimuli. We are not supposed to like remember everything whatever we have seen. We are not supposed to like remember everything we have touched. So we as a human being, we used to select some of the stimuli, and this selection is based on two factors, that is external factor and internal factors, which we are going to discuss in detail further. After selecting the stimuli, we tend to organize that particular stimuli. We used various techniques in this, that how this organization process takes place in our brain. This is known as perceptual grouping. After organizing that particular stimuli, we tend to give meaning, that whatever we have seen, we have touched, we have smelled, what exactly it is. It is known as the process of interpretation, like exactly giving the meaning to the stimuli. Now, when we are going to interpret or we are going to provide the meaning, we tend to do some perceptual errors. These perceptual errors and attributions which we used to make when we used to perceive an object, when we used to give meaning to an object, to a person, to a thing. So these errors which we'll discuss further. And last is the response. Some people like respond in a covertly way, some people respond overtly, that the perception, whatever I am perceiving, I used to behave in a way that everyone is can sense or can feel that my perception is in a positive way or in a negative way. And some people tend to do not share their perception, whatever they are perceiving, whatever they are thinking about that particular person. So the response can be covert or overt. So perceptual process in detail. Like first step is receiving. Receiving is the first stage in the perception process. It is the initial stage in which a person collects all information, receives the information through the sense organs. Then selecting the stimuli. Selecting is the second stage in the process. Here a person doesn't receive the data randomly but selectively. A person selects some information out of all in accordance with his or her interest or needs. The selection of data is dominated by various external and internal factors. So we are going to discuss these factors also. Internal factors like learning. Learning may play the single biggest role in developing perceptual sense. It is a cognitive process by which the mind organizes information and forms images and compare them with previous exposure to the similar stimuli, whatever we have like experienced in the past. So we used to compare the same stimuli. Learning creates an expectancy in an individual, and expectancy make him see what he want to see, which means perception and interpretation of pupil depends on their previous exposure. Whatever we have experienced in our life, we used to compare and we used to interpret the things on the basis of our learning. Like in this figure we can say that a b c is written, but if someone is asked to like read out this, so it is our learning that we have to read in the this particular sequence a b c. No one is going to read c b a or b c a or b a c. So it is what our learning. Like there are three triangles given over here, like, and there are some sentences written over here, like Paris in the spring. But it is our learning that we do not tend to repeat the word the two times. We will read like Paris in the spring, once in a lifetime, a bird in the hand. We are not supposed to read the term again and again because it is not in our learning. We have learned to read this way. Now there is a paragraph given over here, and like if we are going to read it, like I'm going to read it according to research at Cambridge University, it doesn't matter what order the letters in a word are. The only important thing is that the first and last letters are at the right place. The rest can be a total mess and you can still read it without a problem. I have read this paragraph without an error because this is our learning. I have learned these words. I have learned how to pronunciate these words. It doesn't matter the letters are at their place or not, but I am able to read it. And many of the people who have gone through these letters, these words in their life, and if they have heard earlier, they are not going to make the mistake. This is the perfect example of learning. Second internal factor which we are going to discuss is motivation. It also has a vital impact on perceptual selectivity, where it creates an urge and activates this inner stimuli of individuals. Like for example, a hungry person will be more sensitive towards the smell or the sight of food than a non-hungry person. That person will be motivated towards to like, I am hungry, so I will be definitely going to attract, or will be definitely like my uh, urge will be activated when I see the food or I smell the food. When a person walks into the lunchroom, he may go to the table where several of his co-workers are sitting, rather than a table which is empty or on which just one person is sitting. It is like how I am motivated, how my urge is activated. Like after seeing this, the influence of motivation, the extent of our motivation will affect the speed and the way in which we perceive the world. For example, food products will seems to be brighter in color when you are hungry. Third term is personality, values, behaviors, and even age of an individual may also affect the pupil perceive the world around them. For example, the older senior executive often complains about the inability of the new young manager to take tough concerning terminating and paying attention to the details and the paperwork. The young manager in turn complain about the old guards resisting change and using papers and rules as end in themselves. Further, the generation gap witness definitely contribute to the different perceptions. So this is all about the internal factors which are going to affect the perception process. Rest we will discuss in the next lecture. So till then, take care. Bye-bye. Keep reading, keep learning always.